Welcome back to our cruising series. So most of the time when we talk about budget, we are talking about how to save money, how to do things a little bit more efficiently. Today, however, we're going to go through and tell you about all the ways that you can indulge yourself and have a little fun with spending your money. Obviously, the most expensive thing you're going to probably pay for while you are on your cruise is your cabin. And once you pick your cabin, you are often given chances to upgrade that cabin. So whether you pick the cheapest inside cabin that you can get, or even if you get a balcony cabin like we did this time, the cruise line kept sending us emails, would you like to upgrade? And what they often do, you can bid on an upgrade. So they'll say, here's your options for upgrading. In our case, we could have upgraded to a suite, and it'll say, how much would you be willing to pay extra if we gave you a suite? And so they just let everybody who wants to can put in a bid. Maybe they want to bid $300 extra per person or $600 extra per person or however much. And then they take whoever bids the most, wins the upgrade and gets to have that upgraded cabin. So this is one of those ways where it's going to be cheaper to put in a bid that gets accepted than it probably is if you just bought that cabin outright. So if you're happy with where you are, and you lose the bid, no worries, you just get to stay where you are. But if you want to put in some extra money, and it'll give you some indications of what a good bid is, but it just depends on what other people bid on. So sometimes we'll put in a bid of, $50 extra per person just because, and we never win that, which is totally fine because we don't really care. But if that's something that's important to you, that's something that you could spend some extra money on.
Let's talk about food. Now, there is plenty of free food on the ship. You can go to the buffet, the main dining room is usually free, but there are a lot of options where you can pay a little extra. On Norwegian, if you want to get room service, then you pay a little extra to have that delivered to your room. Mm-hmm. There are also lots of specialty restaurants. This is something that has become quite popular with most cruise lines. There are specialty restaurants where you can get nicer food, but you are paying for that experience. Sometimes quite a bit, actually. I think looking at the menu, I saw that the more expensive items on some of the menus were about $45 to $50 for some of the specialty restaurants. And you're also getting appetizers and drinks and all of that to go with it. So a specialty meal can be quite expensive.
Different cruise lines will price them differently. Sometimes you will have a flat fee of you pay $59 or $49, whatever it is, to dine at that restaurant. Sometimes, and Norwegian has been moving to this a lot, is toward a la carte pricing, where it's this much for an appetizer and this much for your entree. And it just depends on which is going to be a better deal, will be depending on how you order. But it is going to be an option for you to spend quite a bit more money.
Yeah. There are also sometimes options such as a ship might have a Starbucks on board.
Yeah.
In which you can buy the pastries and coffees or whatever Starbucks might offer. And there are similar venues on other ships.
Now, another thing a lot of people are going to want to take advantage of is some kind of drinks package. So I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that alcohol can be very expensive when you are on a cruise ship, but not just alcohol, like sodas generally are not included. That's something you have to pay extra for. So you're going to have to look at your cruise line and see which specialty drinks package you're going to want to get, whether it's going to be regular alcohol package. Sometimes there will be a premium package, and sometimes it'll be coffees and sodas and all those kinds of things. Check it out and see if it's going to be a good choice.
Now, one of the main reasons we and many people take cruises is to see the ports of call. And sometimes you're in some amazing places that you'll never have another opportunity to go to. So you may want to take a tour while you are there. Now, you can either buy excursions on your own or you can buy them through the ship. The price of the excursion will vary depending on the port you're at, what excursion you are taking. Some are simply, they will take you into town and you can go on your own and do your own shopping and come back. Some are full adventures with helicopters and everything. So they vary a lot, and that will be up to you to decide what is best for you.
Something that is increasingly important for a lot of people is just being able to stay connected while they are out on this vacation. Now, sometimes in port, you can find free Wi-Fi in the port or once you're into town. And for some people, that's enough. They get to a McDonald's, they can log on and send some text and keep that connection going. Other people want to have a more comprehensive plan for staying connected even while they're out at sea. Now the ship will sell you Wi-Fi packages. Most ships now are using Starlink, which is much better than the Wi-Fi of the past. We've never gotten the ship Wi-Fi package, so this is all secondhand information, but we just have heard that things can get slow. There are different packages depending on if sometimes they will sell you just coverage for the entire length of the cruise. Other times they will sell you a certain number of minutes where you just have to be more careful that way. These packages can be quite expensive, so you just need to make sure you know what you're getting and what you think is going to be included in that, and then just stay on top of it. Now, there are other options that are starting to come up. If you're just looking for coverage when you're in ports, you can get eSIMs that will cover you when you're in, service range of the land and the cell towers. We have used that on several different cruises, and you don't have service while you're out to sea, but then when you get into port, you turn on the eSIM and you've got some data that you can, do with what you want while you're connected to the tower. As the technology develops, though, there are starting to be more options. Now, we are trying something on this cruise we've never done before, and we bought some coverage through an eSIM from a company called GigSky. Now, we're going to do a whole video on this later on in the cruise. We just turned it on the other day, so I don't have a lot of experience with it, although just on first glance, it looks like it's working really well. This can be, again, pretty expensive. I think we spent $150. They were having a Black Friday sale, and that is for 10 gigs worth of data over 30 days. So it's not a huge amount, but hopefully it's going to get us through, and we will do another video later in the series and tell you all the pros and cons about how that is working for us.
Now, if you like being pampered, a ship is a great place to find places to do that. The spa and the salon will take care of you, and they will also take your money to do it. They have all kinds of different things that they offer, from haircuts to massages and aromatherapy. Sometimes on some ships they'll have special pools and saunas you can use.
Another place a lot of people love to spend their money is the casino. If you are a gambler, every cruise ship is going to have some kind of casino, so check it out and see what games you might like to play while you're on board.
When you're on board, there are about 1 billion activities you can participate in. There are game shows and trivia and all kinds of fun stuff, but not everything is free.
Some of those are going to be like fitness classes. We've seen some of those have a fee associated with them. There might be some tasting. So this is one of the things we really enjoy doing. Well, they'll have a chocolate and wine pairing where it's like a class, and they teach you what the wine tastes like, and then you taste some chocolate and see how it changes the flavors of the wine. Some of these classes can be really interesting. We've seen them on, beer tastings and margarita tastings and, different things like that. Just little classes that you can do that do cost the money because they're serving you some alcohol and snacks.
A lot of ships will have extra classes that you can take. For example, today I think there was an art class where you actually learn how to paint something. Those will cost you a little extra.
Some of the bigger ships will have big activities, like you can do a rock wall or a water slide or go-karts or something, just depending on what is on that ship. But you can spend some extra money to have a little extra fun.
Another thing you can do, often through the excursion department, is a ship tour, and that'll take you into the back areas of the ship where the crew is usually the only people who can enter, and you can see backstage at the theater or the galleys or the engine room. There's a lot of things you can see on a tour like that.
If you are a person who likes to shop, you are in luck because there are plenty of opportunities for shopping on board. You can go to the shops and get clothes or watches and jewelry or perfumes or souvenirs. There is the art gallery where you can buy your favorite pieces of art. There is a photo gallery. So pretty much anytime you get on or off the ship, there's going to be people there taking your picture, and you can go to the photo gallery later. And if you like those pictures, you can buy them for your own.
If you are someone who likes to gamble but doesn't like to go to the casino, there is another option, and that is bingo and scratch-offs. These are things, activities that will happen throughout the entire cruise.
And finally, something that sometimes people don't think about is laundry. Now, we are on a 26-day cruise. We are absolutely going to have to get some laundry done. And that's just one of those things that's going to come at an extra cost, but we are ready to pay it because we want to have some laundry done. So whatever kind of experience you want to have while you are on your cruise, there are lots and lots of options, different upgrades and activities and indulgences that you can do to make sure you have a great time. Now, looking forward from here, we have 4 sea days on our way to the Seychelles, which we're very excited about. It's going to give us plenty of more time to relax, which I'm happy about, and plenty of more time to shoot some more videos for you. So remember, we are shooting a video every single day. We're going to be sharing our best tips, tricks, and hacks and practical advice for what it's like being on a cruise ship and how you might be able to do that yourself in the best possible way. If you are interested in seeing some more of our videos, I will put the playlist right over here.
Today and not tomorrow.